ESRS, they expect from organizations to take into account stakeholder perspectives when doing the double materiality assessment. In the Materiality Master, we have taken this into account and make sure that you can analyze your stakeholders, rate them, and then also involve them in your decision making. Here's how you can do it. If you enter your assessment, you have at the top the introduction tab, and then there's a separate tab for the stakeholders. To add a stakeholder, you can simply click on the button here, Add Stakeholder. You can assign them to a category. So we have predefined categories. If the category is not matching, you can also select other. In this case, I want to add a supplier. You can also select the expertise. The expertise means is the stakeholder an industry expert? Does he or she know your company very well? Is an ESG expert or something else? There's no impact on the expertise for any of the ratings or anything else. It's just for documentation. You can also leave it blank if not relevant for you. In this case, it's an industry expert. It's a supplier. And in this case, I give it a name and call it just supplier A. You can then go ahead and add a description yourself about the supplier, how relevant it is maybe for you or what is important about them. Or you can choose to use the AI assistant here to let in this case, a more generic description about this, to get a more generic description about the stakeholder. You can shorten it, expand it, apply it, watch the AI video to understand further how the AI works. In this case, you can select then also the interest. With interest, we mean how well do you understand, what is the interest of you in the stakeholder and what is the interest of the stakeholder in your organization. In this case, we are somewhat dependent on the supplier, so the interest of us to the stakeholder is high. You can add a justification. This is useful for the auditor, but also for yourself to understand why you have made the rating as high. And you can select the influence. Again, what is the influence of you for the stakeholder and what is the influence of the stakeholder to you. In this case, the influence is medium. They're not super dependent. And the knowledge means how well do you understand the requirements and the views of the stakeholder. In this case, well, we have a regular check-in to the supplier. So, well, I have a medium understanding of them and what their view is and how they tick. Again, you can add justifications for this and then simply click Add Stakeholder. And the stakeholder will then be shown here in the stakeholder map next to the others. Once you have created your stakeholders and added them here to this overview, you can also connect them and link them with your IROs. So if you're your IRO assessment, you can go to any of these IROs. In this case, I have a climate change adaptation IRO, and I want to link a stakeholder. I can say, okay, in this case, I want to link the supplier A, connect them, and now you can see here that there's a connection. You can also go ahead and add an explanation of how they were involved. For example, you have maybe conducted an interview or invited them to a workshop, and add some more information of how their perspectives were taken into account. If you're not happy with the stakeholders connected, you can at any time unlink the stakeholder from specific IROs and go ahead, save it. Or, of course, it's also possible to do a mouse over through any of the stakeholders and then simply remove or delete the stakeholder from the assessment if you don't want to show them anymore. Just do this for the supplier I just created. I can remove the stakeholder and now it's not there anymore, and you just see the two remaining stakeholders on the list.